Welcome to Leadership Lessons. I am honoured to have Philippa Christer from the exhibition industry, a senior leader who's moved through her time in industry for over 20 years and is now a senior leader with an expanding team and a fast-growing business and a range of events. I am honoured to have PK talk us through and share from a vulnerable place some of her learnings as a senior leader, and we'll unpack what it's like to be a senior leader as a female with a family, finding her way to the top of her organisation. I hope you'll enjoy the conversation. Thank you for joining me. I welcome the opportunity to get into a lovely conversation. That's exactly what I'd love this to be about, a conversation, and honing specifically into your learning, your wisdom, and the gift that you pass on to other people that are following a similar path into a senior leadership role. Let's start with what you would say is your biggest learning on the journey to taking your current role.
There's loads of learnings, and I think we'll keep learning. As you always say, everyone is a work in progress, Tess. The biggest learning that's been gradual, but it's really clicked into place very recently, was how tight I was holding on to everything and the speed I was going. I always drive for excellence. My teams always achieve great things, huge business growth, which is brilliant. I don't think I was aware of how tight I was holding on to everything. So stepping back and creating space and letting the team fly has been something that I've enjoyed watching as I've been able to step back. And as I was reflecting on it, I was coming in today, I was thinking about my values and everything. And one of my core values and how I show up best in the workplace is when I have freedom and space to be able to do what I need to do. So a bit of a loud clanger moment, well, not a moment was, oh wow, there have been times I think in the past when I hadn't given my team that freedom.
Because we know each other quite well, and I've got some exposure to your team, and I know that you've been gathering in feedback over the last year or so. What would you say was the biggest piece of feedback that was a bit of a surprise for you that you then gone on to grab hold of and do some work on?
There was one piece of feedback that really I wasn't expecting, and that was if she doesn't let go and sort of slow down, she'll burn out. I can kind of see now how that could happen. And also if she doesn't let go and it will erode her confidence. There's a piece of feedback. That also I kind of couldn't understand how that could be. I think I can now, because you can't keep going hanging on tightly. And excellence is something close to my heart. If we want to continue growing and being excellent, have to step back, let the team run with everything we already have and keep that growing and excellent, and then bring in new things. So to create that space to bring in new ideas, create new products and everything. I can't do it, no one can do it all.
What's a moment that you're proud of as you've been working on this, giving a bit more space and freedom? If you can kind of hone in on a little bit more detail.
I think one of the most satisfying things as a leader is thinking of it in terms of you are creating leaders yourself. So what I've really enjoyed through, especially with some coaching and working with yourself, Tess, is the learnings I'm learning about myself. I can see my strengths and failures in myself in other people, and because I've really got an awareness of it, I can articulate and help other people see that too. A really proud moment, I think, would span over the last sort of 4 or 5 years of my time at Montgomery. I started off working, literally joined 5 weeks before COVID, and had one event, which in itself is like a mini business. You've got your own strategy team, P&L, taking that event with skeleton staff, just 2 people. We worked really hard. We not have a single week where there wasn't revenue coming in. And it was tough. So we got through that. And then coming out of COVID, as I grew in my senior leadership position, took on more and more teams, more events, to run on sort of 5 separate events. building the team from 2 up to about 22 now. And I think for me, a massive learning has been being able to manage through other people. That's a really hard thing to do. And when you ask about pride, I think that's looking at all of the teams and how well they function, how people can be themselves in my team. I hope they would all say that. They can be open, and we will flex and build the team and have the direct report lines working in the right way, so the right managers are with the right people, so everybody has the potential to succeed and be the best that they can.
And so through this journey of having responsibility for more events, and of course the team's grown exponentially as part of that, in addition to this piece around giving more freedom and a bit more space, which you've realised is not only important to you, but you realise you need to put that in place for them, what would be the other dimension that you think has been the thing that's different around your leadership beyond that?
I'm very comfortable now with having difficult conversations with people. I've always been comfortable about taking, I wouldn't say taking risks, but it's about taking brave decisions in terms of perhaps products that aren't working that well, that need to change or even go, about teams and how you build it and when things aren't working right, moving things around. Sometimes people aren't perhaps the right fit for a certain product, so shifting your stuff around so you're maximising potential and giving everyone the opportunity to fly. I think if I look back, like way back, even when I was younger, not in the working place, I've always taken brave decisions and I've always pushed through in quite a determined way. I was really shy when I was younger, which anyone listening to this probably won't recognise because I don't come across shy now, but I was always really determined, so I sort of pushed through that. What I have learned later on, I thought as you got wiser and older and you became a leader that you would still be brave and courageous, but that kind of fear and vulnerability would go because you'd be so sure of yourself, you'd be so confident, you'd know what all the answers were, that you wouldn't have that pace that you had when you were younger. Now I know it just comes part and parcel. So if you want to create great things, part of the jigsaw puzzle is sitting with a bit of fear, vulnerability, knowing that it might not go right and being at peace with that. So I was thinking about it in terms of a jigsaw. If you want to create something amazing, you have to have that jigsaw piece. Without it, you're not going to find the other pieces. So you kind of got to jump straight in and accept that you don't know all the answers and it might go wrong. And it will do sometimes.
Thank you. And of course, I'm in a bit of a privileged position because I know you quite well from the work that we've been doing together. So one of the areas I'd love you to say a little bit more around is this quality of being really present. I know is something that is work in progress. What I'd love you to talk to in particular around that is, where has it given you some value? What can you harvest from that quality of being that little bit more present?
I fundamentally believe the leader you are is the person that you are. How you show up and how you are and your demeanour is going to be naturally reflected back with the people that you're working with. On a good day, I'm absolutely present and I feel great, and I think the team probably feel great. On a bad day, my head is absolutely full and I'm probably not present. So my journey is trying to remind myself and catch myself when I'm perhaps not present and I'm busy, because everything you have inside you, your team is going to pick up on as well. That can see the vision quite clearly. And I want to do well. I'm quite ambitious. I think I naturally just start going fast and can't sort of stop. So when you're talking about presence, I've worked really hard on trying to step back frequently and look at the bigger picture and go a bit slower and flex my pace so that I don't lose people along the way. It's taken a long time to learn that, if I'm honest. I always thought in my heart, the faster you go, the more you're going to get done, the quicker you'll get there, you'll beat everybody, you'll get to market first on something. So my massive learning is really, you can get in the train and drive really, really fast. You will get to the end, but some things might fall out the window. It's probably better just to slow down occasionally and actually not get derailed. That's something I've been aware of for a long time, but it's only clicked recently because I've actively practiced stop, slow down. You might be losing someone here. They might need more information or work in a different way. And I've seen the power of it. And now I can see that I'm probably going to get to the end quicker by doing that. But that's been a massive, massive learning. And also, I think it's very hard when you're within a business sometimes to see yourself. I would recommend anyone to do coaching work or have like the stakeholder feedback from a third party where everybody can be very, very honest and you get a really clear picture back. The gift of feedback is something really important to me because nobody can grow if people aren't honest and giving honest, kind but honest feedback.
Yeah. I'd love to now just kind of double click into the communication piece, because I know this is something that in particular is a learning area. And I think you probably you're able to draw some good advice for others out of this whole kind of component of comms. Tell us about what wasn't working, what you've learned, and then what your advice would be.
Yeah, I think I'm really sensitive to comms now, and sometimes things weren't working and I didn't know why, or people might be disengaged, and it's kind of why is that? It's often to do with the quality of the communication or how the communication is delivered. And I really appreciate the time now that you need to put into prep of communication. Everybody wants to grow and succeed in themselves and in the business. That's why we're here. I think that people are really sensitive as to the way that the change is delivered and managed. So if you're going to implement something new or change something, a lot of energy always goes into what the new idea is that's going to turn the lever. But not as much energy is put into how you are going to deliver and explain this, and then you're going to support people through it. Wanting my team to have freedom, part and parcel of who I am and what I do is also having support, giving support. So I will always give the freedom to my team, but I will absolutely have their back. And that's how I kind of like to be managed too. I want to know that you are there and it's okay for me to fly. So if you're communicating change piece, you need to support people through it. There's been quite a few things I think over the last couple of years that I've done differently. I remember doing a strategy piece a couple of years ago and deliver the strategy. I can actually remember, it's cringeworthy thinking about it. We did all this stuff and we got all these pieces in place. It was brilliant. And I stood up at a meeting and delivered everything. And I just talked for so long to everyone. They probably actually switched off and told them what we were doing. So now, differently, a few years later, when I look at our strategy piece we've got in place for the next 3 years, we wanted to really push for fast growth. So at the beginning of the year, we've got all the team together. Everyone contributed into ideas of what we could do. Then we outsourced that to a research place to then dig a bit deeper into, what were the smartest direction to go. Then brought the team back in to say, look at what you did and where we've taken it. This is where we are now, and this is what we're going to do next. We're going to take these pieces. Now we need to see what the market thinks. We'll send that out to some insights research piece, and then we'll be ready in January to bring all the team back together again and say, right, from the work you did then, this is where we are now. We've put numbers and things against bits and pieces which we presented to the team already. That will take, we're looking at doubling our portfolio in 3 years. It's absolutely taking them on the journey, making them feel part of it, including their voice all along the way and explaining why some things have been picked up on and other things that we've dropped. It perhaps wasn't, not that it was a great idea, but strategically when you do the big jigsaw, it's too small a piece or there's reasons why. So everybody knows where we're going and why, and that they're part of it.
Brilliant. I want to take us in a different direction, if I may. I'd love you to think back to the PK of, your very early stage of moving into your career, knowing what you know now, X number of years later. What would be the advice you'd send back to her?
I bet a lot of people say this when they get bolder, but be a bit kind to yourself. It's really easy to constantly have your sights on the future and the vision, and I'm a really forward-thinking person, so I always forget to look backwards. I would say 100% look back. I think I was lucky enough, I think, to have a lot of support and recognition early on in my career from lots of different people that gave me the confidence that I could move forward. It's really important for me to make sure I do the same for others and give them the confidence and the accolades and show them that it can be done. In terms of learnings and talking to a younger PK, if I look right back to my younger days at school, my dad always said to me, no, he said, everyone's bluffing, he said, you just need to bluff too. I don't think he actually sort of meant it in that way, but I think he was trying to say, look, nobody has all the answers and you don't have all the answers, even when you're in a senior leadership position. So don't expect to have all the answers. Be curious, really make smart decisions and wise decisions, and that comes from listening and letting others in and listening to them. But I think I always thought, my dad's lesson now rings true. He was right. You don't know all the answers. Nobody knows all the answers. But I think I thought in younger years that I think I was looking for the answers all the time. And don't let that hold you back, because nobody knows all the answers ever.
Okay. That's quite freeing to know that. Bit of pressure off.
Yeah.
I know there is something that you're really passionate about, and that's being a female leader and navigating your way through the senior ranks. What's been your learning? And again, what advice would you give someone at an earlier stage of the journey as a female leader coming through?
I would say network and ask lots of people questions, and again, no one has the right answers, so talk to a lot of other senior females and then take the answers that sort of kind of suit the direction you want to go. I remember reading the Sheryl Sandberg Lean In book, and that really taught me that don't ever feel guilty about the choices that you make. Just decide the way for you and sit comfortably with it. That book's really good because it's got a lot of statistics in it. So for people that like a more sure answer, it's kind of statistically saying there are lots of different ways to doing it. She does lots of different analysis as to taking career breaks, working full-time and having kids, all the different conundrums you can do that you might get thrown on you as a female leader, looking after elderly people and juggling the care of family and work. And that book clearly says there isn't an answer. There's pros and cons to both. So make the decisions that are right for you and sit comfortably with it, and don't feel guilty about it, because that's an absolute waste of energy. And the other piece I would say is you absolutely can do it. I think in our industry, as the exhibition industry, I think we are really lucky, and there are a lot of female leaders. But if they weren't there, I know I would think, I can't do it, it's not for me. So by having them visible, it really makes me realise that you can do it. And I've seen lots of them move up right from the bottom right to the top. So anyone can do it. You don't have to be some special person. You do need to be true to yourself, listen, and develop the skills around leadership. Good leadership is around people. It's about learning how to get the best out of people. It's not about being the one and only one person band. This I've used with you a lot of stage analogies before because I'm from quite a creative background, but this is not a one-man show. It is a full production with everyone, and everyone has their part. And if you take that as a leader, then I think you take a bit of pressure off yourself because everyone's in it. You're just there to allow the curtains to open and everyone to do their thing.
I love that. I love that analogy. So moving to a close then, let me invite you to strip all of that back. And if I were to ask you to answer the question, and who is PK?
Let's say I'm just me. There is no armour. I'm definitely brave, but it feels scary. I definitely feel sometimes that it's hard being a leader. It's a responsible job. People are relying on you. And the power of your actions and your words are stronger than you can imagine. And I know that you get it wrong sometimes and you'll do a passing comment or say something which might deeply affect that person at work. You obviously never have any intention to do that, but it's really important for me that everyone shows up to work and they're happy and they feel comfortable and they can be themselves. So when you say, who am I want to show that there is a vulnerability underneath, and that's okay. Somebody asked me yesterday, do you get scared when you go and speak or you did the panel stuff? It's like, yeah, absolutely. But I just kind of be myself and prepare so I know that I will do the best job that I can do. So for me, I'd like to think that I don't have, everybody has a little bit of armour, but I try and shed it as often as possible and show people who I really am. I'm honest, I'm creative. I know I go too fast. I'm constantly trying to slow down and flex. And I hope that people that want to work with me and a part of my team can be absolutely themselves. I'm very, very accepting of everyone is their own person. That is actually something my dad taught me. And you're going to make me cry now. So it says you have done your job. My mum and dad are, I think they're very non-judgmental and accepting of people coming to the house and understanding that everyone comes from different walks of life. And my dad said that he's a really good teacher. He just wanted people to be the best that they could be. I think that's probably me.
That's beautiful. An appropriate place to pause. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being alongside each other on the journey. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to talk so openly.